The Simpsons cabinet drama continues. I break down the cost of my six-player X-Men project, and Arcade One-Up's bundle is lame. But don't worry, I have some suggestions. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Another episode of This Week, the show where we talk about in Arcade One-Up news what happened last week, what's going to happen next week, and far beyond into the future. Or maybe a couple days. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. Hope you had a great week so far. Lots of stuff to get into tonight. A lot of different stuff. A lot of different bullet points I want to hit. Should be a fun show. I hope anyway. Fun for me to put on. Hopefully fun for you to consume. And speaking of consumption, the bourbon for tonight. We're still on the Maker's 46. Still got a little bit left in the bottle to go. This might be good for another show, depending on how hard my week is. You know how that goes. And with that, let's take a drink. Oh man, the Simpsons drama. Before we even get to that, though, I got some of my own little personal drama right now. Last week, I had 2 polls going. We talked about one poll, and then I started a second poll, and I never read the results of that poll. So let's start that off right now. And basically, the poll is: if the price is $6.99, who is buying either Terminator 2, Killer Instinct, or Ridge Racer? Is anybody in the chat going to buy any one of these cabinets if the price is $6.99? Boom. Poll should be going up now. Definitely jump in there, please, if you could, and just vote on that one. Let me know yes or no, up or down, left or right, and we'll take a look at that later, because we had a 3-way shootout between those 2 cabinets last week, and I didn't account for the people that just weren't going to buy it. So that's probably the bigger question, I think, with these price points sort of locked in at this point. The diversity of the cabinets, the different types of cabinets we have, does any one of these appeal to anyone at that price point? And that's the key. And that was the main topic of last week. What is going on in this crazy chat? 53 people in the chat already. Can you please smiggity smash the old like button? Really helps out the channel. Do appreciate it. Got to scroll all the way up and talk to my buddy 2 Mile Arcade. What's up? What will be your last cabinet from Arcade One Up? I don't know. If the company is going to fold tomorrow, what would be my I guess I'd probably have to get them all, right? Like Pokemon. You got to catch them all. Not sure what my last one will be, but my next one is going to be Terminator 2. I know I'm weak. I told you in the last episode of the show that I was going to do it at that price point. I listed off my reasons why. Were the good reasons? Well, you be the judge of that. Miss Janine Harris, how are you? Hello. I hope everyone had a good weekend. I also hope everybody has had a good weekend, enjoyed it. Time change today for us in the States. What did we fall? Yeah, we fell back, so we gained an hour, but then it messes up your evening. Like right now, it feels later than it is. So I don't know. It's a constant struggle. First world problems, I know. I wonder now if they're going to add a different game on The Simpsons because of bowling. Wonderful segue into our first topic. We'll get into that a little bit later because it's interesting. It's interesting. We're actually going to go through tonight, guys. We're going to go through the entire timeline of the debacle that is the release of The Simpsons cabinet. Cryotech, what's going on? Happy Sunday. Cheers, everyone. Cheers indeed. Salud. Drink them if you got them. Benji, Garage Game Room. What's going on? Hello, all. Hello to you. WKRP. Cincy, what is up? I think bowling has obviously delayed the Simpsons cabinet. Price took it off my list. But if I was going to get it, I'd wait for others to get it first. Huh? Suckers like me, I see what you're doing there. And I commend you. And make sure bowling works properly. That's the big thing. One of the big things. Well, no, that's the big thing, right? I think second is the price, because we see this is already available in 2 different price points. So you can swing for the fences, or you could, kind of sit back, waiting for that close to, or that right at $500 price point. $529 is what I paid. $499 is out there. So I think it's less of an issue. If it was only $6.99, it would be probably the number one issue. But the number one issue, I think, to me, is the fact that we haven't seen any actual gameplay of bowling on that cabinet. So that's a killer, and it's a good question to ask, I think. Chris Kingsborough, what is going on? Hello, everyone. Hello to you too. Mega Drive, Justin. Hey now. Don't dream it's over. Retro Stasis, hey. What do you say? ROCK in the USA. Like what I did there. Wayne Rice, what's going on? Hi, everybody. Hey, how are you? Mike Hawkhurst, what's going on? I'm ready, but I was also ready for my Simpsons shipping notification on Monday night, and the email I got had me very upset. Ironically, I was in a Walmart when I got the email. It's like they know. It's like they always know. Walmart don't mess around. Walmart always knows. Walmart always knows. Wilson Singleton, how the hell are you? Glad we waited to pull the trigger on Simpsons. Yeah, well, get it once it's straightened out for sure. That may be my advice for everybody with Simpsons at this point. I mean, if you're going to go ahead and cancel those pre-orders, we'll get into it a little bit later. But it's crazy to say the least. It's drama. It is drama. Papa Brad's Gaming. Hello, everyone. Hello to you, John Rodriguez. Yeah, that's right. A smooth yeah. Endangered dog. Please, someone get that dog out of danger. Yes, he agrees with that. Steve V's Man Cave Arcade. What's going on? What is up, everyone? How the hell are you? There he is, Justin. Console Kits saying hi to Brad. How was your dinner, Brad? Brad, please respond and give him a detailed description of your dinner and if it was good or bad. And if the cook that made the dinner is watching, keep that in mind. What's going on, Fox? How are you, XS Sarah? XS Sarah 1? Is that Sarah in excess? Is that like a lot of Sarah? Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, it was really bad. It was me struggling. I'm trying to make a joke. Andrew Clay's Creations and more. Hey, Fox, how the hell are you? Good to see you. We got some stuff to get into. Bones McCoy. Bones McCoy. Yo, what's up? Nice name. Nice name. I'm not sure if I've seen you here before. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you've been here before, I apologize for not recognizing that name because that's pretty dope. 2 Mile Arcade did happening to see the poll on Facebook. You're talking to somebody else. Chris Kingsborough got 10% off on T2. Figured why not? Hey, why not? If you can get 10% off, more power to you. I had not to brag. I'll go ahead and let everybody in a little secret. I had $5 in Best Buy cash. So I got $5 off my T2. Didn't want to throw it out there. Didn't want to make everybody upset. Everybody revolts, freaking out. Smooth $5. It's pretty awesome. It is. It's pretty awesome. Firestarter X says KI for me. I can't debate that point because it looks pretty damn good. It looks pretty damn good. There is no last one-up cabinet. They continue forever. They will never stop. Tammy G, how are you? My weekend is too short. Doesn't it feel like it's always too short? Even with the extra hour, it still feels like we were robbed somehow. And Guy Email says, waiting for Atari pole position. Yes, there are a lot of people that are waiting for that. Kind of surprised we haven't got that, to be perfectly honest with you. Kind of surprised we've only gotten, I know there's been announcements, but we've only had in hand being able to purchase one shooter and one driving cabinet. It's kind of weird, right? And they're introducing the Rumble feature with Ridge Racer, which seems like an expense. You could have spit out another driving cab without the Rumble and saved some money. And I don't know. That's just me. But yeah, I think a lot of people are definitely waiting for that too. Stark, Tony, are you okay? I just canceled my pre-order of Simpsons for $4.99 from Walmart yesterday. I figured only 2 games, and I have not much room for another 4 players. See, that could be another crucial flaw, a hitch in their giddy-up, per se. If they are strategically spacing this out, and we're going to get to it in a little bit more detail, I need to probably move on to the timeline. But I'll go ahead and address this. If it's like a strategical move, right? They're going to push out those cheapy. And I'm saying cheapy. I also have the same cheapy bundle at $500. How the hell is that cheapy? But if it's the lower tiered bundle and they're trying to space that out to kind of give people that are paying more that sense of a premium experience, you're going to have a lot of people that are like, you know what? Nah, I think I'll dip. I'm good. Because now you get more stuff coming out. Simpsons at the time of pre-order was like the only thing on the horizon, really. I mean, I think a lot of people were not too big on TMNT, or I'm sorry, Turtles in Time, because of TMNT, and the 2 games kind of had a bump. So maybe, but this delay could say, you know what? I think I'm just going to bounce, and could hurt the sales. Could really hurt the sales. Absolutely. Make sure that Endless One Up giving me the hook 'em horns, give me the rock on Valhalla. Let me make sure. Bozo, gotta say hi to you. What's going on, man? Hello there, 19 Keybox. I changed my mind on T2 at Best Buy, waiting to pre-order KI. Oh, Valley of Indecision. You're not the only one, my friend. But my T2 purchase is still locked in. My pre-order is still locked in for now. who knows what could happen. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we got to get started. All right, I got to get the clock's 29. What's up? I might get the Ridge Racer, but it won't be till at least February. But I also have to see how the controls are on it. That's why I'm here to serve you. For those of you that missed last week's show, I'm not going to get Killer Instinct. Well, I'm not going to pre-order Killer Instinct. It's $6.99. I only got the budget for 2 of these cabinets, and I really think that T2, with all the new features, needs to be reviewed so that anybody who's on the fence can make a better decision. Force feedback is probably number one with the guns, and there's just so many unknowns with the shooter cabs. I know some of those questions have been answered with Big Buck Hunter, but I think T2 still leaves a lot out there for people to sort of explore. And at $6.99, people aren't going to be willing to take the chance. So we're going to get T2 for this channel, and we're going to get Ridge Racer because I'm curious about the rumble feedback, the rumble steering wheel. It's not force feedback, it's rumble steering. What's that all about? How does that feel? Is it gimmicky? Is it annoying? Can you turn that feature off? It's another thing I want to get down to. Dig down into it. So I'm going to get those 2 cabinets, so don't worry. Stay tuned right here, and I will definitely let you know what I think. Big D Retro, what's up, man? First time to your channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I do appreciate it. And buckle up, because we're about to take a journey. We're going to take a journey, not to the Twilight Zone. We're going to take a trip down memory lane, the drama-filled, wavy ocean. I ran out of adjectives. Let's just jump into it. So for those of you who don't know, those of us poor saps that bought Simpsons or pre-ordered the Simpsons cabinet from Walmart have now experienced a delay. So I thought it'd be a great idea to sort of go back and recap how we got to where we are now. Why is it such a big deal? Not just because something is delayed, it's the compounding issue. It's a big problem. It started with this. And of course, I can barely read the date because my little timestamp is covering up. That's June 9th, I believe, June 9th, 2021. Articles from The Verge and, I know, I'll just look at the preview up there. I'm cheating. I got a second screen. Articles from The Verge and CNET confirming the upcoming Simpsons cabinet without pricing. We'd been rumors and things like that, but finally we have articles in CNET leading up to CES talking about, here it is. Here's like full spread articles, right? With pictures of people with hands on the cabinet. No bowling, no screenshots of bowling, just going to keep throwing that in there. So there we go. That's where it all started. We finally got confirmation. Okay, here we go. Then we have June 16th. RK1UP CMO does a YouTube interview stating this is what he said. All right. Obviously, The Simpsons has been expected and confirmed. It's up, and he's confirming their upcoming release. So obviously The Simpsons has been expected. So confirming that everyone has expected it, and he confirmed that of its coming release date, right? So there you go. So, all right, here we go. No problem. Everybody get their checkbooks ready, and here we go. Then it starts to get a little bit dicey. We jump to July 9th. July 9th, RK1UP's official Twitter account responds to a tweet asking for an update on The Simpsons release date by stating that the cabinet has not been officially announced. Now, I did a video on this. It was shocking that they would really make that statement. It was way out of left field, and it caused a lot of people's heads to sort of spin. Like, what do you mean it wasn't announced? I mean, you had everything we just talked about. It wasn't at CES, but now you're just playing. You're like, what? It was kind of nuts. It was kind of crazy. It was so nuts and so crazy that this was it July 27th. YouTuber 19K Fox makes a video stating he does not think Simpsons Bowling will be the second game. The internet collectively laughs. Didn't appreciate that, internet. But yes, I did that. I made that statement. And I think the bigger picture is that there were concerns about the cabinet, and I was pinpointing to bowling as a potential problem. Was that the real issue? Who knows? But I think that it was. And at the time, they had not officially, we knew the cabinet was announced, but they had never actually stated what the second game was. We never saw that officially anywhere, with the exception of a blurb in one of the articles itself, but nothing officially from Arcade1UP. So that just fueled speculation, to say the least. And like I said, the internet collectively laughed. But it seemed a little outlandish at the time. Obviously, surely it's going to be there, but we had no confirmation. Confirmation came on August 15th when Arcade 1UP updates the listing on their website to include Simpsons Bowling as the second game. My head was hung in shame. But we thought we were well on our way to getting finally what we've been promised for all this time. It's announced, it's up and it's all updated. We know the games. Here we go. August 16th, pre-orders go live on arcade1up.com for $6.99 and later that night for $5.29 at walmart.com, which is where guys like me, people like me, came in and said, you know what? No, I'm not doing it. I'm going to jump ship from Arcade 1UP and I'm going to go over there. Now, actually, I did not pre-order from Arcade 1UP. I went straight to Walmart. That's just how I roll. I wasn't gonna get Simpsons, especially with the two games. Just didn't seem like it was worth it to me. So I decided to go with the $5.29 option. Okay, sounds great. What could possibly go wrong? I mean, nothing. We're good now. After all that crazy emotion, back and forth, the waves, the crazy, tin hat theories and conspiracy theories, we're finally past that. November 1st, email notices are received by Walmart pre-order customers that the release date has been delayed 2 months from 11/5 to 1/4/22 next year. So here we are. The game has been delayed again. I would tend to maybe your knee jerk is okay. Well, maybe it is. Maybe Fox was right. He was right this whole time. We were laughing at it. Internet laughed at him and said that he's so wrong. Maybe he's right. That is it. That is it. Bowling is the problem, and they're actually going to scrap it, and they're going to get rid of it, and they're going to put those other games on it that we talked about in our video. Going to go with something else. Going to go with those Vendetta. Those other cool Konami 4 players, and we won't even have the trackball anymore. And that's what's going to happen. That's obviously what's happening, right? Well, not so fast. And jump over to Arcade 1UP's website. And while Walmart customers with that $5.29 and $4.99 pre-order price, while those have been delayed, that's not the case across the board. Eventually, I will find Simpsons on their website. I should have had this pulled up a little bit earlier. But if you go to Arcade 1UP specifically, if you go and you get that bundle, if you pay that $6.99 price point, if you wanted to have that stool, if you were dying for that tin sign that everybody just loves, look at that. Oh, easily worth $90. They still show a ship date of 11/30. I've also had others tell me that, hey, my pre-order is still intact. I didn't order from Arcade. I didn't order from Walmart. I paid top dollar, $6.99, and I'm still good. I'm going to assume that is the case. So does that speak to a bigger issue like the game is broken, can't handle this much power? I don't think so. I tend to think that this is going to be the bigger issue, I think, is simply that you've got a screw up. The Simpsons really sort of broke the mold. It was almost like new territory when it came to releasing cabinets. They really screwed up. There's no other way to say it. And I've talked about this before in some of the other issues or some of the other releases we're going to have coming out where there's 2 SKUs per the FCC filings. You're going to have a big expensive bundle up front, and then I believe they're going to wait. And then eventually later on, maybe it's whether it's 1 month, 2 months, whatever. And then you're going to get those cheaper bundles coming in. It's perceived value, right? People are going to sort of, be pissed off when they paid so much more for what's essentially the same thing. Yeah, you're getting a stool. Yeah, you're getting a tin sign, but there's no, the makeup of the cabinet is really not different in any way. There's no lit deck protector or anything that really distinguishes it from the other one. That's where I tend to lean. So did bowling delay the cabinet? Maybe initially. And I think that it did. I think that it probably delayed it initially. We even had some, some of the conditions of licensing is that the games play to the specification or to the satisfaction of the licensor. Licensor. The one issuing the license or allowing the Arcade 1UP to have the license of the game, it has to meet their criteria because that is their brand and they're representing their brand. So they want the game to be emulated correctly. So I think that did delay it in some way, but I don't necessarily think that's what's delaying now. I think it's it could be some supply chain issues, which I think that everything is impacted by the supply chain issues in some way, shape, or form. There's no way to get around that. But I really think that the primary reason why they've delayed those bundles specifically, those non-combos specifically, is going to be that perceived value where they want those customers to spend the extra money to get theirs first. Until something else changes, until we have other reports from Target, from other retailers with those bundles, those 6.99 bundles. Once we hear that they're not coming, that they're also delayed till next year, we could have a bigger issue. We could have a bigger problem, and I will maybe revert back to bowling is the issue, and then I will take my tin foil hat and I will put it on my head and I will say, they're going to take it off. You're not even going to have the trackball. It's going to be crazy. They got to remake everything. They're going to be robbing. You're going to see delays with X-Men and Turtles in Time because they're going to have to rob those control decks and they're going to have to sand off the graphics and put that. I'm going to act just like this too. I'm going to do this because this is what you do when you're crazy conspiracy theory. And they're going to have to do that. And you're going to experience shipment delays for everything. But until we hear that, I think it's probably safe to say that if you paid more, you're probably going to get yours first, and that's probably as good as it's going. I think that's where we're at, in my personal opinion, because I think that they know that a stool and a tin sign doesn't quite cut it. We also went over this before in another video of mine, where if you look at the price difference between the two bundles, we're talking about if they value their stools at $90, that still leaves $90 left over. Where does that fall? Are you telling us that your tin sign is worth $90 or $80? When people look at that, they're like, whoa, that's crazy. And when you have those two bundles available at the same time, why would you go for the bigger price point? That's just my opinion. That's just my 2 cents. But let me know what's going on in the chat. What do you think? Am I way off base? Do you think, is your tinfoil hat on? Do you think that bowling won't be there? Because I've got it right here. So if enough of you convince me, I might jump on. And break it out, and we'll have a good old time. I got to scroll down because I believe we have. It jumped quickly. I apologize. Snow Dub, my brother, what is going on? What are the odds of these being in stores by Christmas? Slim to none, my friend. Slim to none. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat from a true gangster and a good friend. Let me hit you with a little bit. Scroll down here, and I'm sorry, but you got to go to the pit. Finish him. Wins. Flawless victory. Fatality. That's gotta hurt. Man, thanks so much for the $2 super chat. I really appreciate it. Console fanboy Zohar coming in. Says hi to everyone now and for the next few weeks. Hi. Just putting those highs out there so that everybody knows. He says hi. Thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat. I do appreciate it. And of course, I've got to have a little bit of a, let's see. Which one does he like? Does he like this one or this one? I think you're a Scorpion guy. Here you go. Finish him. Finish him. Scorpion wins. Flawless victory. Fatality. Thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat. Really do appreciate it. Yeah, LOL console fanboy. Supply chain issues. Bond 008A. It's like an add like A, not just 008, but A. Also, just kind of a So what do you do? Sorry, we'll talk about that later. Yeah, supply chain issues. I think it obviously. You cannot rule that out completely. It affects, I think, across the board, all the products in some way, shape, or form. There may have been a meeting where everybody sat down and said, listen, we have Turtles in Time, we have X-Men, and we have Simpsons all coming out right now. Supply chains are limited. What are we actually going to put in an order for? What are we going to have to, are we going to have to mix and match stuff and put it on a container to get over here? And maybe somebody said, listen, let's just push Simpsons back. For the cheapy bundles, just make room for the big bundles, and here you go. It could just be that simple. Wouldn't you love to be on the port over in China? I'll just take this. Don't. I'm just kidding. I pre-ordered it. Don't worry. It's fine. It's fine. Console Kits is pretty sure the early delays was a bowling emulation, which I totally agree on that. I heard a few developers were working on it and struggling early on, and I think the current delays are supply chain. It's also very feasible. I think that's I think the days of blaming bowling are over for most people, but I'm going to continue to blame bowling because that's just what I do. I actually really like digital bowling games. I really enjoy it. It's a very, very fun way to kind of pass the time. It's one of the games that actually works well on a touch device. So my iPhone, I've got a couple bowling games on it. It's really fun. It's really fun. So I hope that they get it right because just like the golf game, you can have a ton of fun with bowling. Tammy G says Walmart has been known to put arcade one-ups in store before shipping their pre-order. That's true. I guess they figure they always have their money with a pre-order. That's also true. No, I'm not. I'm not. That's a really good point actually, because they already got your pre-order money. What the hell? Go ahead and take some of those, and maybe instead of fulfilling pre-orders, shove them on shelves and see what happens. So there, there you go again. Hit the stores, look around, do some shopping, and you might make out better than us suckers that still have pre-orders. Simpsons timeline is done. We know where we are with that. It sort of is what it is at this point. We're just gonna have to wait and see. But I can't. The level of craziness cannot be overstated when it comes to this particular cabinet. And I hope that we have sailed those seas and we have weathered those storms, and that is all behind us. Let's hope. I think they have learned some lessons, but maybe not all the lessons have been learned. For those of you who follow me on Instagram, you saw today, and I posted I think I put on Twitter also. I picked up a cab that's pretty rare, not the rarest one that RK1 ever made. I think the title for that, the rarest, I think is still Burger Time at a little over 3,000 units. But I was able to pick up the Marvel Superheroes Special Edition, one of 8,000 that were ever made, the Sandwall controls and all that. And that was a really good pickup. I'll go ahead and tell you right now, I paid $350 for it. It was in excellent condition. Still had all the paperwork, the certificate of authenticity, all that. If you're looking for pictures, if you want to see pictures of that, head over to my Instagram or my Twitter and check those pictures out. But it's a stock cabinet. There's nothing really too crazy about it. But I was very, very happy to get my hands on it. That orange T molding, or the fake T molding, really, really stands out in your arcade. And the guy that I bought it from was fascinating. He was a great guy. I was probably at his place for probably 2 hours. We were talking, we were having a great time. And he has several rooms in his house dedicated to, you name it, console games, Lego, specifically Lego Star Wars, comics out the wazoo. He's got some amazing stuff. And of course, one of those rooms was an arcade. I asked him if it would be okay if I could share this with you tonight, and he said sure. So let's go say hi to Cliff's Arcade here in Cincinnati. Here you go. Did a little shopping this morning. Got a pickup. Met a great fellow collector who allowed me to come in and take a look at his little slice of heaven. Look at this. I mean, this is dope. His name's Cliff. Lives in Cincinnati and has just got it hooked up. This is only one room in his cave of wonders, but this is really, really awesome. Just wanted to show this off. Has a ton of collectibles. A huge Turtles fan, Wolverine fan, but this is definitely the Ninja Turtle shrine. So I just had to show this off real quick because this is awesome. Great job. Really, really cool guy. Was really happy to meet him. So keep your eyes open when you're working, when you're shopping, when you're working the deals, and you might meet some really, really interesting people. Once again, thank you so much for obviously the fair deal on the cabinet, and then the time spent showing off your collection of arcade one-ups and everything else. And really, I mean, that's true. I think that's part of the fun. It's a big part of the fun of this hobby that we have, is we get together and kind of share our stories, share our love for arcades. We even got into a little bit of a debate on which games were on which cabinet, and that was kind of fun. We're pulling up on our phones like, see, I told you. And like, oh, but no, it was great. Thanks again so much for that. And yeah, he was a huge TMNT fan, had some sweet rare stuff, and it was really awesome to kind of check that out. So yeah, so just wanted to share that with you. That was a fun experience. Great way to spend a portion of my Sunday. Absolutely. Also, something else I've been doing. We're going to talk about my 6-player X-Men in just a second, but I thought I would actually bring up the fact that I've got a Teespring and I've got a few. I haven't really wanted to bring it up that much because I didn't have a ton of new designs, but I wanted to go ahead and share it with you now because I have a few. So I've worked with an artist and got a few designs together. I've had this for a while, the Wombat Blaster. Any resemblance to major franchises is completely incidental, but I've got that as a design for my T-shirt. Of course, the logo of the show, and then a blackout version of that, coffee cup, stuff like that. Kai Fighter is another design that he and I worked together on. Once again, any likenesses or any similarities between popular franchises is completely coincidental. But that was fun to kind of get together and do that, really kind of a retro style. But I started to go ahead and commemorate my builds. I thought, what a good way to kind of go in and show off the builds, and you could sort of show support for any project that you might like. So I've got these three designs here. It's the siXMen is what I'm calling the project. I know it's kind of weird, but basically the six-player X-Men project. I've got that in a colored version, a noir, which is just like a black and white, and then I have the AVP project. And for a closer look of those designs, let me go ahead and bring those up here. And you can see that these are the three designs you're going to get. The t-shirts are available in white or black, so it's kind of pretty basic. But what I did was I took the image, cleared out the background, and then I applied a filter to give it a certain look. So it may be difficult to see, but the colored images, it has like an oil-based paint filter on it, so it looks like it's got brush strokes in it. So that's kind of cool. The little splash in the background, the 19K Fox there in black, and then here for the black and white, that's actually like a pencil drawing filter. So it's got that etched, sketched, shadowy kind of look to it. So that's kind of cool. Everything in the shop is $20 or less. But they're the premium t-shirts, they're not the regulars. I wear them all the time. I have those. I have two coming so that I can rock them on the show, and you can see them. It's nothing I like to push a lot, but it is there. And if you want to represent the show, if you like some of the projects, it is there for you to check out. Really do appreciate it. Like I said, every little bit really helps. Now let's get into some of the cost, not of the t-shirts, but of my cabinet. So the six-player cabinet has been a passion project of mine really since they announced X-Men, the four-player version, and it was coming out. And I had that ROM on my PlayStation 3. I think a lot of you probably did too. And everybody obviously remembers the six-player from back in the day. The thing was massive. If you walk into an arcade, I mean, arcades were known for having, like, you would look for an arcade that had that cabinet. Six players, it was an event. I mean, that was it. So when they announced the four-player, I couldn't help but sort of Jones for the six-player. Like, oh, why aren't they making the six-player? And I was hoping that maybe they would have the four-player, but have USB, connectors on the side. But they didn't. I'm like, wow, so I thought, why don't I just make one? And I had the AVP project under my belt, so I thought, well, why? Let's give it a try. Let's give it a shot. And I knew that I needed to work within 4 feet, because that was sort of the package limitations of RK1-Up. So I thought, okay, well, that'll be part of the challenge, is to stay within 4 feet. And then I want to stay within the design confines of, the shape of the cabinet on the side. I want to radically change that at all. So I started with a third generation cabinet, and I'll say right off the bat, that's not necessary. You could just make your own custom side panels and mimic those, the shape of that pretty easily, especially when you consider everything else you have to do. So here's the list right now. Starting off right off the top, I got my X-Men versus Street Fighter cabinet on sale at Walmart for $350. I will say this right now, that price of that cabinet is now $500. Hopefully that will come back down to $399, which is where it kind of lived for a long time. But it is what it is, right? So that's it. So let's just leave that there. An argument could be made that you could take portions of that cabinet that you're not going to use and resell that and recoup some of your money. You could take the monitor with the PCB, and you could put that on eBay and make probably $100, maybe 200. I don't know. You could definitely take your control panel that you're not going to use, and that's kind of like a multi-purpose thing, right? Got the protector on it, the deck protector. You could sell that. Some of the other panels, the marquee, you could sell that. With the exception of the monitor, I actually gave away the Wi-Fi antenna and the PCB as part of a giveaway on my march to get to 2,000 subs. So I gave that away. I gave the marquee away, and then I gave away the control panel. But those are things that you could sell and recoup some of that money back. 27-inch PC monitor, new. I didn't go used. I bought a brand new one. Best Buy, $150. The 12 gigabyte PS3, I got the Super Slim. The 12 gigabyte, I wanted just the onboard storage to be very small. I didn't want to get one with a hard drive. It wasn't necessary. I just want to have a few games on it anyway. The Super Slim had a 12 gigabyte version, so it just kind of made sense. I bought mine secondhand, obviously 125. If you've got one already, well, then you can take that off the cost. About 175 bucks I spent on the arcade controls. That's all the buttons, joysticks, and that is the on-off button, volume knob, and all that. I just use the Amazon cheapo encoder kits. You could obviously upgrade if you want to go all Sanwa. You definitely can, but this is pretty much what I think. If you're going with new buttons, this is about as cheap as you can go. The 10 amp power supply was 20 bucks. The cable and wires. So there was a lot of, I used those USB cables, USB to USB B. They're like the printer cables. So I bought a kit that was various colors. It just made troubleshooting a little bit easier if I have a problem down the road. So far, knock on wood, there's no issues. But assorted cables was 80 bucks. MDF and other materials. So I started with the X-Men versus Street Fighter. I used the side panels, and that's about it. I made everything else, really just extended all the pieces in the middle to get the width that I needed, made a custom monitor mount, and kind of away I went. So that's what you can expect there, about 80 bucks in that kind of materials. Those kicker speakers. Now, once again, you could reuse your speakers if you want, but I wanted to upgrade those speakers. They were 4-inch speakers. They were really, really nice. They're clear. You have a lot of bass for the size. That was 50 bucks. The 30-watt audio amplifier was 20 bucks. The marquee kit, I got the marquee kit, which is the actual marquee material, and the LED backlight that's mounted on a strip of aluminum. I got all that from Angel over at Disability, and so he got that for me. I had to actually make the physical structure to support all that because I was going wider. There's nothing off the shelf I could just go grab, right? So I made that. But the marquee kit was 40 bucks. Side art. Now, see, this is when you get into the artwork. This is where it gets really, really expensive. Side art was 70 bucks. That was just the side art. That was just the kit, the 2 side panels. That's it. That was the only part that I couldn't design myself. Usually, when it comes to all my art, I will design it. I use Canva, and I have like a pro account with Canva, and then I design all my artwork, and then I send all those with the proper dimensions. I send that over to Game On Graphics, and he'll print those out for me, and I can usually get that turned around really quick. A big delay I had was I couldn't find the files. I couldn't find the artwork that I needed to accurately draw the side panels. I couldn't get that just right, so I had to go with somebody else and get that. So that was $195 for all the other art, plus the $70 for the side art, which brings us to a grand total of I hate to say it out loud, $1,355. So this is me spending, retail pricing. Like I said, you could take some off if you decide to sell some of your components from that X-Men versus Street Fighter cabinet. It's whatever. You can kind of spin around a little bit, maybe a little less here, a little less there. Roll with your stock speakers, blah blah blah. But basically, I think you're going to be able to get this done if you've got the tools. Which really, it's just you're going to really want a drill press and a table saw. And a router. You really want a router. You should definitely get a router. If you've got this stuff, if you got some woodworking ability, you can get this done for around $1,200. Would you purchase something like this from Arcade1Up for around $1,000? Because I think that if they decide to make something, there's no way in the world they're gonna sell this for less than $1,000. They're just not. So that's where you're at. Realistically, you build this yourself, you're going to spend about $1,200-$1,300. And if they make something that we got to buy, I don't see paying less than $1,000. I just don't see it. But anyway, that's kind of where the project ended up. Let me know what you think about that. Was it crazy? Was it too much? Was it not enough? And if it wasn't enough, damn. I think it was plenty. But yeah, it's definitely it's not cheap. I think I saw a comment, modding ain't cheap now, modding ain't cheap. How many man hours? MG says. It was tough. I didn't really keep up with that because I travel for work. So it was a weekend here, a weekend there. But I think honestly, if you stuck to it, if you had everything ready to go, if you had your artwork, if you waited and got all the material together, had your artwork sitting there, you could probably get it done. I don't know. like a 40-hour. If you had you take vacation, you could probably get it done in 40 hours. 5 8-hour days. You wake up and you just work on it. Because you got to fab parts and you got to paint them and let them dry. And then you got to fab parts, you got to paint them and let them dry. So there's some things you have to wait for, and you can do other things. But I think that if you woke up every day and you worked on it for about 4 or 5 days, probably 5 days, you can get it knocked out. So take a vacation, get some money, buy everything up front, and then dig into it. And make sure you buy enough wood to make a few mistakes, because you're going to make some. But the great thing about MDF is the prices are actually not as expensive as RK1 would want you to believe. Just saying. Worst Jago, X-Men versus Street Fighter side art is the best RK1-Up has done. A lot of people feel that way. I really like it too. I just like the games list on the Marvel versus Capcom cabinet better, which is why I left that one alone. Obviously, it's got a few more not custom, but specific to that bundle that I really want to keep intact. So there is that. But anyway, so that is it. ACS Rocks Esports. What's going on? Art is always expensive. Yes, artwork is very expensive. Whether you will save some money if you design it yourself, but you're still going to pay that fee. I mean, the material is what it is. That cost is there. Now, if there's a pre-existing kit, you'll save some money. But what I've also found is that when you get these kits, you save some money. You end up settling for thinner, a thinner mill, a smaller mill thickness. So your plastic isn't as thick, which means it's not going to be as robust. Which means if you stick it and have to pull it out, you could rip, and you could tear it, and that's not good. That's not good. So I think there's really, at the end of the day, I think there's no way around it. You're going to have to pay what you're going to have to pay. Unless you have your own printer and you want to do it that way. Yeah, that's that's a whole nother investment that I don't know that I'm willing to make right now. Big D Retro, I did a PS3 mod too. Just need graphics. Yes, graphics can be pricey. Exactly. PS3 is a great thing to put in. I mean, pick your favorite console and put it in here. I've done one with the PS2. I've done one with the NES Classic, and I even made a custom control panel with a couple NES controllers that kind of fit in. So that was really fun. I mean, they're good for that. If you're talking about a first generation cabinet, you want to repurpose it. I've got one that is the subject of all my mods. All my experimentation is on my first gen. The prices of these cabinets now, man. I mean, it's tough to. It's really tough to cut one up when you're talking about a $600 cabinet or a $700 cabinet. It's just, and that's, I think, the breakaway point. That's the issue that a lot of people are having. It's not just the money, which the money is definitely a big factor, but we bought these things with the idea man, they're just at that right price point. So I don't mind doing a few tweaks. I bought my legacy cabinet. I absolutely hate with the white hot intensity of 1,000 burning suns. That control panel, but I paid $400 for it. So I just decided, okay, well, I'll just make a new control panel. It's not that big of a deal. The artwork isn't going to be super correct. It kind of looks a little out of place. My T-molding isn't the exact same color of red, but I could deal with it. $400 cabinet, okay, I don't mind that. Listen, my T2 cabinet, do you think I'm going to touch that thing? If there's something I don't like about it and I feel like I have to change it, I'm going to sell the damn thing. Just because it's just the cost is such that it just doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, now if you buy one used, a couple $100, knock yourself out. Swing for the fences, lose your mind, it's okay. But I just don't. I mean, who's going to take a brand new PS5 and let's just take it out? Let's just swapping out hard drives is one thing, but let me just solder some cool RGB lighting on the board. Oh, I just destroyed it. Oh well. Maybe I'll roll like that. I don't know, but money's hard. I work too hard for my money to just throw it all away completely. I mean, let's be honest. I'm throwing some of my money away, and so are you, but it's damn fun. I just appropriate throwing away of certain funds. How much is RK1 paying you to push these higher prices? Not enough. Not enough. Because I only deal in one currency. Arcade machines. Hook me up. And then I'll get the RK1 hat and the pin, the shill pin. Yeah, that's the way we need to do that. Nice job, Fox. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. It really was. I mean, it's some of it was frustrating and nerve wracking, but I'm hoping the 6-player X-Men is an upgrade kit for the current 4-player X-Men. I think the only issue you're going to have is that screen. I can tell you with all certainty, I've got mine up on a riser. I have all my arcade one-ups on a 4-inch riser to where they meet my eye line correctly. And I've got mine where it needs to be. My 5th and 6th players with my 27-inch monitor, I can see 95% of the screen. I'm standing there and I'm going to get that picture too. Well, I'm just going to shoot a video. I'm going to get 6 people around this. I owe it to everybody, so you can see that yes, it can actually be done. And you see pretty much almost all of it, right? There's some at the top you're not going to see. You're not going to see maybe the health bar of player 1, but who cares about that? But it's you start talking about using a 17-inch monitor. There's just no way. There's no way. You can do it old school with like the way they used to be. Take two 17-inch monitors side by side, maybe. You have that line in the middle, but that's correct. That's the way it was done in the past. They had 2 CRTs and away you go. But I think that it would make too much sense to just get a 27-inch monitor. Now, what I'm afraid of is that they would decide to just go to the well and take the 24-inch they use in their pinball machines and throw that in there. I don't think the 24 is quite big enough, but I think that's what they might do. They already got. I mean, they're not going to deviate from those screen sizes. They're not going to do it. They've been rocking those 17-inch monitors forever, and there's never been an upgrade. No matter the cabinet, you just don't get a bigger monitor. They get better, the quality improves, but you just don't. You really just don't get a big bump in screen size. And I think at this point, it's kind of weird that we haven't got that, because I think that's going to justify the cost of a bigger, a more expensive cabinet. I mean, that's like probably the number one thing. Maybe number two. Number one's probably better controls, but I don't know. I think number one is probably a bigger monitor. I don't know. That's just kind of what I'm thinking. Console fanboy at 19K Fox, do you like any of the first episodes in Star Wars, and how do you feel about Episode 3? Oh, the prequels. I love them. So my favorites, obviously, the trilogy, the original trilogy, the OT, you know, the mold breaking trilogy that started it all. I like the prequels because that's George Lucas. A little funky, a little weird dialogue, but no, I think it's great. I like that's George's creation. Sadly, nobody else would direct his movies. He wanted somebody else to direct his movies, and I think they could have benefited from a better director. But I think there's stories out there where even Steven Spielberg wouldn't touch them. They're like, George, that's your baby. But they could have benefited from a better director. But no, I think they're great. The sequel trilogy is garbage, in my opinion. If you like it, God bless you. But no, not me. Wayne Rice says, I like the first 3 Star Wars movies. Well, I mean, come on, absolutely. Even original trilogy or OG trilogy, absolutely. Star Wars theory got me to love the prequels more. I think that there is a hurdle to overcome, Justin. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. There's some things to get past, but that is, especially when you compare it to the sequel trilogy, there's just no comparison. But there is a continuity there. There is a rhythm and a flow. It all makes sense what has to happen. But I will say that when it comes to prequels, they all suffer from the same thing that every prequel suffers from, is we know where we're going, right? We got 3 movies. We know where we're going. We know Anakin turns into Darth Vader. We know some stuff's going to go down. It ain't good. And then we know what happens beyond that. So you have the start point they have to establish, but we know the end point. So that it does suffer from that. And like I said, it could have benefited from better, from better, more skilled directors for sure. Jar Jar is a Sith Lord. Oh, hell yeah. He's an undercover Sith, baby. Don't mess with Jar Jar, I'm telling you. Misa's so annoyed. Qui-Gon Jinn is the best Jedi. I loved him. Liam Neeson. Well, maybe he's why. He's Liam Neeson. Come on. Now, here's what I'm talking about. Endangered Dog, Star Wars Trilogy Arcade 1-Up. Make this happen. We love this one. I mean, you got $500 out of us when all your arcades were $300. Give us Trilogy. Do it. Do it now. Come on. What you doing? Every episode, I have to break out a bad Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. It's just standard operating procedure at this point. RB 1033, a despecialized version or original theatrical release. I have a Blu-ray copy of the despecialized editions. I don't have it with me. and I love it. I love it. But I think it's a companion piece because there's an argument to be made that the specialized versions with the crappy 1997 CGI, for better for worse, that was George Lucas's vision. So you got to leave it in. But I love watching those despecialized versions because Han shot first. He's a gangster, and because he shot first, we see his arc. We see where he is, scum villainy type guy, redemption story. Boom. But you got to see him at a low point before he can be at the high point. That is just my spoiler alert. What? I didn't know Anakin was going to be. Sorry, sorry. You're right. I should. I should. Next time, I will definitely. Let's see. We'll throw this. We'll throw this up. No, this one. Sorry about that. So moving on, which you get me talking about Star Wars. I'm gonna talk about Star Wars all night. But one thing that I that is I really need to talk about. I think we need to, as much as maybe we don't want to, but we need to talk about this. It is a sign of things to come. It is a signal. It is a glimmer of hope in this dead, dying, post-apocalyptic landscape of arcade one-up collecting that we live in, and it is the bundle. That's right, kids. The bundle. The bundle has made its first appearance. Hopefully, the bundle will not go away, but the bundle is here, and hopefully here to stay. You can see they have a price of $7.29 for these two cabinets here. The price you can pay is $5.99. Deep discount. Hurrah! Here we go. Problem. Problems abound. First off, you're not going to include that. You give us a stool for everything else that we don't want a stool for. In the instance where we need a stool, this is for very small children that, come on, if you've had very small children, they don't stand for anything. They don't sit still, let alone stand still. So you need a stool. You're not going to include a stool here. You're killing me. So you're not going to include the stool, which is just a plastic chair, but okay, fine. $5.99. No stool's a problem. There's more problems with this. I completely understand the coupling. You have the 3/4 scale Pac-Man. You have the baby Cade Pac-Man. Pac-Man. That makes sense. I get it. I understand. Problem is, of the two baby Cades, party Cades, Arcade 1-Up Juniors, of the two, Pac-Man will be less popular than Paw Patrol because kids don't know Pac-Man. Mom and dad, grandma and grandpa know Pac-Man. 5-year-olds don't know Pac-Man. 5-year-olds don't know what a life without the internet is. Now, 20-year-olds don't know the life without. Anyway, stay on topic, stay on target. So of the two, you picked the wrong one for the kid. Of the 3/4 scale, you also picked the wrong one because what does Arcade 1-Up have an abundance of? Pac-Man variants. Every possible SKU, variation, color of Pac-Man cabinet has been released. If you wanted a Pac-Man cabinet, you got one. If you were dying, if you were jonesing for your Arcade 1-Up Pac-Man goodness, you got it. This is not going to push somebody over the edge. So while I understand why you put these two together, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I'm not paying. If I really, really want this cabinet, and the Arcade 1-Up Junior is not going to push me over the edge. It's not going to do it. And I don't think, as a parent, my 5-year-old is going to want to play Pac-Man versus Paw Patrol. I just don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. So while I love the fact that we're seeing bundles, I don't like the bundle. The elements of the bundle frighten me. No, they don't frighten me. They disturb me. You tried. It was a swing and a miss. It was a swing, but don't worry. Don't worry. I'm here to help. I'm not just a downer. I'm an uplifter. I'm not a downer. I'm a pick-me-upper. That's what I am. I'm here to help. I have suggestions, people. I have suggestions. And the first suggestion I have is, boom, the Legacy Fighter Bundle. Look at this. Think of this combo. You want to get started in Arcade 1-Up. You don't know where to start. What do you do? Well, they got these legacy cabinets. Put them together. But we want a common theme. Namco and, The Atari and that's not a good coupling. I don't know. And maybe you could have Pac-Man and Street Fighter, but no, I've already talked about that. If you wanted Pac-Man, you got Pac-Man. You already had it. This is what you need. This is how you get started. You got a bunch of games, super duper awesome classics. I mean, Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. What a great way to get started building your own personal arcade. Think about it. That is freaking sweet. Cost? Purchase separately, $8.98. This bundle, $6.99. $6.99. Think about it. It just makes sense. It just makes common sense. $6.99, and you're getting a ton of games, huge marquee titles. They're bundled together. You're going to move these cabinets. They're finally at the point now where there's plenty of them out there. They're not moving by themselves like they were initially. So if you want to get people prompted, if you want to get people maybe to jump on that legacy bandwagon where they're like, I don't know about the control deck. 19K Fox says it's garbage. It's okay. Don't worry. If you get both of them for that price, that's not a bad deal. Not a bad deal. I got another one, but before we get into that, let's check on that poll. So I asked you at the beginning of the stream, don't want to end the poll. I just want to look at the poll. I asked you who is going to buy any of these three cabinets coming up if the price is $6.99. Who's going to make the jump? And I didn't care which one. Terminator 3, Killer Instinct, Ridge Racer, doesn't matter, right? $6.99, who's going to buy it? We've had the poll going for a while. 118 votes. No. 68% is saying no. 32% says yes. I'm in the 32%, but I made the admission in my last live stream that a big portion of that is because I have a YouTube channel and I want to bring that content to you, and I need to review these units, the ones that have new features. So that is why I'm to be honest with you, that's why I'm making the purchase. If it wasn't for this content making that I got to do, I would wait. I would wait for that $500 bundle. I would wait for Facebook Marketplace and try to do it that way. That's just my personal opinion. And I'm just being honest with you. Full disclosure, right? Full disclosure. I know Rainwater RK1Up has not only have they not paid me, but there is no discount. There's no 19K Fox discount. I don't call up John D and get $5 off. But if I, like I said before, if you use Best Buy and you save up those little gift certificates, those little $5 off, that's where you do it. So anyway, the poll's over. 118 votes, 68%, almost 70% says no. You're just not interested at that price point. And I think that probably speaks to the overall market, the overall audience that they've built. I think that's where we're at. So yeah, 119 votes, still 68%. No. So the first bundle, what do you think about that? Legacy Fighters bundle, dude. I mean, that's the ticket, right? That's how you get started. Look at that. $700, but you're getting all that goodness. Think of the legacy. I mean, living up to the legacy name. Damn, bro. That's what I'm talking about. What do you think about that? Let me know. But before we go to the chat, I got to talk about, listen, I'm here to help you out. RK1, if you're struggling, I see you. You're hurting. Got to have some ideas. I need an idea, man. 19K Fox is here for you. The community is speaking. Here's another one for you. Okay. Maybe you don't like the Legacy Fighters. Maybe that's too. No problem. How about this? Boom. The Marvel vs. Capcom combo. No stool. I mean, you're not gonna put a stool in your other bundle. Okay, you don't want to put a stool here. Fine. Stool, no stool, don't. You could break out the stool completely if you wanted to, but this is a great combo. You're gonna get 2 more games with the countercade that you don't get with your 3/4 scale. You got more Marvel vs. Capcom on both, but you're going to gain the Punisher and you're going to gain the X-Men Children of the Atom. So you're going to get all that goodness, all that Marvel Capcom goodness in this package. Marvel vs. Capcom combo, no stool because that's the way they roll, and give it to me at $5.99. Give it to me at $5.99. I can purchase these separately for $748. Of course, that's just prices on websites. They're not include taxes and shipping and all that stuff. So there you go. I'm saving $150, and that is a pretty cool combo piece. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. That of what's available right now, I think that's dope. I think that's cool. I think especially with maybe somebody's doesn't have that much space. If you want to drive sales of the countercades, the 2-player countercades, people are kind of on the fence about that. But they see this bundle, they're like, damn, that's only $50 more than the Marvel versus Capcom 3/4 scale standalone. So there you go. So those are my two suggestions. You got the Legacy Fighters at $6.99 for both. What would that be? 24 games, just a ton of goodness there. And then you get the Marvel versus Capcom bundle at Christmas pricing, Black Friday, $5.99. I mean, and do it from their website. Do it directly from the RKO1 website. I mean, I think if you want to listen, if you're talking about putting bundles together that appeal to people, that appeal to this audience, I think this is what you got to do. Baby Cades are great, and I know you're trying to push the sale of a Baby Cade, but you're trying to you bundle it with something that's, I mean, it's like adding grass. It's so abundant, and I don't mean that kind of grass. I'm talking about grass outside. You cut it with your mower. Come on, stay with me. It's like just or water. Like, oh, we're going to include a glass of water. Well, if I wanted water, I'll just go to the tap. I mean, everybody's got a Pac-Man that wants a Pac-Man. I don't even like Pac-Man particularly, but I bought the Legacy. I bought the Namco Legacy. I did because you got to have Pac-Man in your collection, and it was cheap enough. So there you go. Boom, did it. So I just don't think that bundle is going to move anything. I mean, I really don't. And if you were going to take the chance on a Baby Cade, you're not going to pay more for it just to get something you probably already have. That's just my opinion. That's just my 2 cents. Let me know what you think. And I got some people in the chat that has some thoughts, got some thinking. What do you think? I mean, is this the coupling that you want? Is this the pairing up? Are these the bundles you would spend money on? Or is there something else maybe you're thinking? Is there something else out there? Wait a minute. Hold on. You get the discount? Well, you've had John D on your channel. So shilling ain't easy, huh? Well, shilling is easy if you're getting discount codes. What the hell is up with that? That's okay, man. That's all right. I will carry the flag of full retail pricing. If you're getting a discount, man, good on you. 19K Box. The secret is using the card and having an anniversary code. Aha. I see what you're saying. I got you. All caps. Swole that Pitbull is on a rampage. That's because Fox isn't blown. Fox isn't blown John D like the rest of you YouTube guys. LOL. I just want to remain impartial. Pitbull. It ain't got none of that. Yeah, listen, I gotta remain impartial. I gotta be able to say what I want to say, and I don't think I can do that if I bring him on the channel. That's just me. I think he has John D is everything I've seen of him. He's a great guy. He's cool. He's been in the chat before, and he's got plenty of avenues and plenty of ways. He's been on plenty of YouTube channels, and that's great. But for me, I just want to stay divorced of that. Mike of all trades, master of all. A discount code would hit different. Yeah, yeah. I would listen. I would take it. I'm not sitting here like I wouldn't take it. I'm not trying to be like that. I would take the discount code. I would let everybody know that I could, though. Ooh, look at that. FB100. Try that. All right, I'm on it. FB100. Of course, you give me this now after I've already. FB100 is a no-go. Chris is trying it. Chris is like, give me another one. FB100 doesn't work. I know. -1, what's going on? I just don't happen to like those games. Okay, if it was a game I liked, the price wouldn't matter much, if at all. And I think that's a good point. -1, when it comes to the games, if it's what you like, if you're jonesing for it, if that's your game that you want, you've had your eye on, that's on the wish list, you'll pay a little bit more. And that's the benefit that RK1 kind of has when they make these specialized cabinets. So it's a good point. Good point. No stool? Yes, no stool, because that's what they do, right? They don't put the stool in. Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. How about a pinball cabinet? Ooh, damn it, Chris, I like where your head's at. So a pinball cabinet combo. What would we put together? I guess Marvel, right? We've got the Marvel pinball. We couple that with maybe X-Men versus Street Fighter. Put that together. I mean, yeah, anything to get that price down. But I think I'd probably still be too high. But that's a good thought. I like that. That's kind of why I think of the two that I suggested, I think my favorite is actually the Marvel versus Capcom combo, because it's actually two different form factors. So maybe you do like a cocktail cabinet and a stand-up, but I like the I like that. I like the pinball 3/4 scale combo. That's a good idea. I have to give that some more thought. Um, but man, I just worry about the price being too much. The price shouldn't be that much. They should still be at $5.99. I mean, maybe $6.99 for a pinball machine, but 850, 750. And I guess I posted this on my community uh, on my community tabs on my YouTube channel. Uh, is the price coming down to $7.49? A lot of people like, Fox, it's a sale. What are you, stupid? Which legitimate question. Maybe I am. But it looks like most of the retailers are Best Buy specifically. They say price drop and it's $7.49. So they usually denote that when it's a sale item, there's a different labeling, and it's worded differently. It doesn't necessarily price drop. It usually has like a slash through it and sale, and it's highlighted. So maybe it's not. Maybe it is a temporary thing. Maybe it's going to go back up to $8.49. But I'm curious to see if those are coming down. I still think they're way too high. Um, but anyway, that's just it. That's just kind of where I'm at on that. I think that the bundling is a good idea. They just need to change that up a little bit, just a little bit different. Got to get caught up on the chat. I apologize. I'm way behind. What am I doing here? They bundled all the pinball. They did, didn't they, MG? I see what you did there. They did that for us. That was so nice of them. Which is still, it's like, man, if they could get that price down a little bit more, knowing that information is out there, knowing that I have that, I'm sure you do too. It makes them, makes them a little more, makes it a little more. It's a pill easier to swallow, knowing that I can have all those tables on the same cabinet. Retro Stasis, I haven't seen that one, but I've considered the IRK. Talking to someone else, I believe. They could do a buy 2 legacy cabs with some kind of 2-unit discount. Everyone has bought different cabs already. That's another thing. Let's take the legacies in one chunk, all 4 of them, and we say, hey, buy any combination of 2 legacies and get a discount. I like that idea better. That gives even more flexibility, right? Now see, this is it. How about a 6-stool bundle? Forget the cabinets. Let's just focus on the stools themselves. It's great. It's a stool party. Something stinks. Probably the stool. I wanted to talk about real briefly arcade one-ups and what I think. I've made this point before, but I was watching Console Kit's live stream, and I was thinking about this, and I always come back to this. What is an arcade one-up? What is it supposed to be? And I use this analogy. I've used it before. I'm going to use it again. In the world of like collections of games, PS2, PS3, whatever, HD remakes, all that. When we see bundles, compilations, collections, they're usually in 2 different camps. And this is a point that I want to make about Arcade 1-Up. We talk about adding more games to an Arcade 1-Up, downloading games to an Arcade 1-Up. What's the difference between a multicade and Arcade 1-Up? Here's I think something that's Arcade 1-Up has done this and it didn't work. So you look at something like this. Okay, Arcade Treasures, Midway Arcade Treasures. There's 3 games, 3 discs total in this entire series, but this is the first one. And when you look at the titles on this, it's extremely varied. You have everything from Spy Hunter and Road Blasters to Root Beer Tapper and Joust and Gauntlet. It's all over the place, right? It's insane. Smash TV, Marble Madness, Paperboy, Tubin, all that, right? A lot of the stuff that we saw in the Midway Legacy cabinet. And while this list is great to have all together, you're using like a PS2 controller to control everything. So the buttons are mapped a little bit different. It's not the same arcade experience, but it's fine because it's a disc for your home console. It's fine. You still get to play these games the way they originally were in the arcade, just not how they originally played in the arcade because you don't have those physical controls. But when we're talking about an arcade one-up being sort of a dedicated machine, the controls have to be correct. So I don't think this is what an arcade one-up should be. A collection, a compilation. I think an arcade one-up should be an anthology. Now, what I mean by that is this is a perfect example of an anthology. So you have Street Fighter Alpha Anthology. Zohar, if you're still, I'm sorry, Console Fanboy, if you're still in the chat, I think this is right up your alley. So you're talking about Street Fighter Alpha Anthology. If they made a Street Fighter Alpha cabinet, these are the games that could be on it. The controls do not change at all. They're exactly the same controls. And all these games are within this same, they're within the series. And it's all the alpha games. You got Alpha, Alpha 2, Alpha 3, and Alpha 2 Gold. And then you also have Gem Fighter as kind of a little bonus. So I can see this being a perfect arcade one-up Street Fighter Alpha cabinet. These 6 games right here is all you would need. You don't go adding anything different. I mean, Final Fight. We saw that happen before. It's fine. It works. It's just 2 buttons, so it doesn't detract too much from the experience. But, you got a Mortal Kombat cabinet with Paperboy. Nah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work because that's not what these things are for. I don't think that's why they exist. This is why they exist, to compile games within the same series. All the Mortal Kombats, great. All the Street Fighters, great. You want to break out the alphas as their own thing? There you go. You want to take your Marvel versus Capcom, your Marvel versus the whole versus series, and make that a thing? Great. But I think that's how they should live. I think, we get into this conversation all the time. I want to take my alpha cabinet and I want to download something. I don't think it functions that way, because what you end up is a compromise. Look at Defender, perfect example. Defender has a very specific control scheme, and you're trying to use Mortal Kombat button layout to do Defender, when Defender is not. That's not Defender. If I'm going to have a Defender cabinet, a reskinned Legacy cabinet in Defender with Mortal Kombat controls, it feels like I'm back to this. I'm just playing some sort of weird compilation of Midway's greatest hits instead of a dedicated cabinet to get that dedicated experience. I don't like that. I don't think that's the way these should be. So while I'm all about value, getting the most for my money, I think that these cabinets should be anthologies. That's the way we should treat them. That's the way they should be, in my opinion. That just makes sense. Star Wars, it all controls the same. They all use the yoke. That makes sense. To just throw games on there to try to justify the cost of something doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't. So what makes the most sense is to take the games that fit within that control scheme, and whatever that is. And the price should reflect that. Instead of throwing stools and 10 signs and all that in there to try to justify some costs, or maybe throw some games that don't really work, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So while more is more isn't all necessarily better.
What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
Whoa, the glass is empty, and we're over the hour, so it's time for me to wrap it up. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Programming note, probably not going to have a show this Sunday. Unfortunately, I have to take off in the morning and head to New York. I got a site I've got to visit, and we're going to do a little bit of work up there. So I'm probably going to be there over the weekend. So I won't be at my home setup, won't be able to give you a good quality show. So is what it is, but don't worry. We're coming up on the holiday season, which means I got vacation coming, which means my ass is going to be at home more, which means we're going to spend more time together, whether you like it or not. And you may not like it. But if you don't like it, thanks for coming back all the time. You glutton for punishment. Thank you so much for stopping by, everybody. Have a blessed day. Have a great weekend. Have a safe week. And I will see you next time.